Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest. Always exciting to be talking about a company I have never looked at in the past. So not only have I never looked at this company before, I have never featured Capricorn Metals in any of my videos. And one of the reasons I have not looked at this company in the past is simply because they are a were a gold explorer, and they've made their transition from being a gold explorer to a gold producer. So this has become a real company. And what I mean by being a real company is they are producing cash flow. Not only are they producing cash flow, it's positive cash flow. So this company is producing money in their operations as they've transitioned from a gold explorer to a gold producer. They've also made an acquisition of another mine. So a lot of things are happening within regards to this company. Now, even though they have become operational cash flow positive, there's still a lot of questions in regards to Capricorn Metals. I'll talk about those questions as we go through this video, but it's always exciting to be looking at a new company that has become operational cash flow positive. So let's talk about Capricorn Metals and what exactly they do. We've already sort of talked about that, but still need a little bit of more information in regards to this company. So let's do that right now. I've already mentioned that Capricorn Metals is now a gold producing company. If I was talking about this company 4 months ago in June, I would have mentioned they were a gold exploring company, but they have made that transition. And in my opinion, that transition from an exploring company to a producing company is the most exciting step a mining company can make. And that will become evidently clear when we compare Capricorn Metals Appendix 5B in the June quarter to the September quarter. You can just see the difference in the financial state of the company between those two quarters. Now, when we talk about when Capricorn Metals was founded, I've mentioned 4th of February 2016. But the company itself has a bit of a longer history than that, because there was a company called Malagasy Minerals, which listed on the ASX in July 2008. And then Malagasy Minerals in October 2015 decided to acquire a mining site called Karlawinda, which is the mine that Capricorn Metals has gone into production right now. And then Malagasy Minerals decided, because of this acquisition, to change their name from Malagasy to Capricorn Metals on the 4th of February 2016. That's why I say Capricorn Metals was born on that day, but they do have a bit of a longer history than that, simply because they were under a different name before that. The CEO of Capricorn Metals is Kim Massey. He was the Chief Financial Officer of Regis Resources for 10 years until 2019. I also noticed the current Chief Financial Officer of Capricorn Metals also has a history with Regis Resources. So we have two members of the management team who have a long period of history in a gold producing company, and that's pretty good to have that sort of experience within your management team. The largest shareholder of Capricorn Metals is Paradise Investment. They have a 7.9% stake in the company, and the market cap of Capricorn Metals is approaching $1 billion. That's at a share price of $2.56. So this company is priced fairly high, and the ticker code for Capricorn Metals is CMM. I always like to look at financial year numbers for a company and then compare it to the previous year financial year numbers, or financial year numbers for the company 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I like to have some sort of context when I'm looking at the financial state of the company. And you'll notice here, everything's black. There's no numbers here at all, because Capricorn Metals was an exploring company up until July of this year. That means no revenue. They would have been operational cash flow negative, unprofitable, no margins. They would have had a bit of cash, but cash would have been going down unless they were continually doing capital raisings. And particularly when a company transitions from an exploring to a production company, they do tend to bleed a lot of cash during that transition. So the whole reason all these lines here are blank are because by the end of the financial year, the company had achieved its goal of transitioning from explorer to gold producer, with first gold poured at the Karlawinda in late June 2021, which is right at the end of the financial year. Now let's look at some of the Appendix 5Bs for Capricorn Metals, focusing on the cash flow statements. And the good thing here is we can compare a company when it's a gold explorer or exploring company to when it's a producing company. Back in the June quarter, this company, Capricorn Metals, was an exploring company. And you can just see how much cash this company was burning through as it transitioned from exploring to producing. Development, $37.6 million, and operational cash flow negative by almost $40 million. And over the whole year, they bled $136 million as they started to prepare to get into production. They began the quarter with $19.2 million, finished the quarter with $10.3 million. They also had $88 million of loans, so they were increasing their loans. More than likely, they're also doing some capital raisings as they needed that cash to get into production. Now let's have a look at the September quarter results, and you can see a massive difference with how this company has been performing. And as we transition into the September quarter, Appendix 5B, a totally different story for Capricorn Metals. Cash receipts have climbed from 0 to $51.8 million as they have moved into production, and they are operational cash flow positive by $6.2 million. This means this company is producing money in their operations. But and I haven't included this, but if you look at the cash flow from investing and financing activities, this company has been quite busy in those areas. For instance, they spent $10 million on acquisitions in the quarter, $11.6 million on tenements. So $21.6 million on acquisitions and tenements. They've also received $6 million through options, and they've borrowed $15 million. That means total borrowings in the company has increased to $101 million. Overall, the cash on hand in the business has really gone nowhere. It's only increased by $200,000 and finished the quarter at $10.5 million. A lot is happening with this company right now. My main concern is the total borrowings increasing to $101 million, but more than likely, I would say management is aware of that. And as this company becomes more operational cash flow positive in their operations, a lot of the cash they produce in their operations will go to lowering the total borrowings in this company. More than likely, that's what will happen, unless management have different ideas and maybe they have more acquisitions in mind. That's definitely a possibility because they've already made one acquisition and potentially they just think that the best way to add value for shareholders is to acquire more mines. I just want to focus on some of the commentary this company did release in the quarter. Some interesting comments here. Gold production for the quarter was 24,000 ounces, and they are expecting long-term production rate to be in the 110,000 to 125,000 ounces per annum. So the amount of gold produced in the quarter was actually lower than they are expecting. So there is a good chance the operational cash flow of this company will increase by quite a bit in the next few quarters. The other thing I mentioned here is having reached steady state operations, reporting of all-in sustaining costs and other financial metrics will commence in the December quarter. That's one thing I did notice. There was no mention of all-in sustaining costs, and that's one thing I like to focus on in a company just to see if it's really high or if it's really low and compare it to how much they are selling gold for. Because if the all-in sustaining costs are really high and it's higher than the price they are selling gold, then that is a problem. But more than likely, because the company was operational cash flow positive, all-in sustaining costs are probably significantly lower than what they're selling their gold for, which they do mention right at the bottom of the corporate bit in the next bit. They also made that acquisition, a 2.1 million ounce Mount Gibson gold project in the Midwest region of WA. They also said cash flow from operations was $27.6 million for the quarter, which doesn't really jive with what they reported in their Appendix 5B, which was only, $6 million. So there's a massive difference between those two. I was trying to figure out why there was just such a discrepancy, but I could not figure that out at all. And they've also made some final payments, so $12.8 million of project development costs and the first repayment of their debt. So they've already started to repay their debt during the quarter. They have a lot of gold on hand too, 1,700 ounces. So if you add the cash and gold, it equates to about $14.7 million and debt outstanding of $85 million, so which is a little bit lower than they mentioned also in the Appendix 5B, which is very interesting in my opinion. As we turn our attention to Capricorn's weekly chart, going back to 2016, when that Malagasy mineral company decided to acquire the Karlawinda mine, a lot of positive sentiment within regards to this company over this 5-year period. In fact, back then, the share price of Capricorn Metals, when they were or did have the name change, was only about 10 cents. So the share price has increased from 10 cents to a current share price of $2.56. And that's exactly what you want to see in a company who hold for the long term, particularly from mid-July 2019, when there was a breakout in the share price of this company at around about 40 to 45 cents. We did see that breakout happen on significant volume, so there would have been some good news in regards to that Karlawinda mine during that period, and that was the breakout in the share price, because we have just continued to see the share price rise from that point in time. And there's a lot, and still a lot of positive sentiment in regards to this company. It doesn't seem like that positive sentiment is going to be waning anytime soon. And that is all I have for this first quarter, that Capricorn Metals is operational cash flow positive and producing money in their operations as they have transitioned from a gold exploring company to a gold producing company. Hopefully many more quarters of operational cash flow for this company to follow after this one. If you do have any opinions, any thoughts or questions about this company or any other company on the ASX, please leave it in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.